Upholding a healthy, balanced, and motivated culture within your organization is extremely important, especially now. A strong team culture, if done right, fosters a sense of community, which improves employee happiness and therefore leads to efficient and effective output. Working remotely, or working from home as it's also called, has become increasingly popular as of late. The question is, how do you maintain or even strengthen your team's culture when your employees are physically not in the same space? Wanted to outline a few different ways to ensure that your organizational culture is uncompromised when a physical workspace is not in the cards. Start by creating rhythms for your entire remote team via conferencing platforms like Zoom or Google Hangouts. Some channels are even offering free video conferencing services in order to alleviate any financial stress small and large organizations alike might be experiencing. Creating these virtual rhythms is really important because it helps keep some normalcy where it might feel isolating to those who are not used to working from home, where there is no physical team environment. Don't forget to celebrate all the wins. If you don't already have a place to post wins, we use Slack here at Community Boost for communication, and we have a hashtag celebration channel where no win is too big or too small to celebrate and really keep morale high. Maybe you're sending a weekly update, but celebrate your remote team's wins and keep everyone aligned. Next, make sure to keep your workforce hyper-aligned with your organization's objectives and goals and team members' roles in pushing your mission forward. If people don't feel like they have equity in the greater mission, why should they work towards it? Ensure that everyone knows what part they're playing in the bigger picture. This is a time for very clear goal setting like no other. Be clear about expectations and accountability. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Written, oral, video, communicate. We cannot emphasize enough how important it is to have clear, deliberate, and transparent pathways of communication while managing a remote workforce. While adjusting to the transition from an in-person office to online, it's better to over-communicate and check in on your team more than you would usually. Once rhythms are in place and people are flowing naturally, then you can cut back on the frequency of communication. That being said, never hold back on transparency, especially in light of current events. It's important to practice radical transparency, be honest with your team about the state of the organization, and communicate. Next, coordinate virtual activities. Get creative here, whether it's a virtual coffee break where team members are encouraged to interact like they would in an office, or an online run group yoga session team members can dial into before starting their morning. Try to cultivate community by way of technology. This can strengthen team culture in a couple ways. For one, it's likely a new, unique experience for most, if not all of your team, collectively trying out new things with each other and give them some bonding time other than just their work. Another way this will strengthen the culture is that it exposes the sheer fact that you as a leader genuinely care about the general well-being of your team. This is important. Create urgency, but keep it inspiring. It's important to acknowledge that teamwork, perseverance, and innovative strategy are collectively more important than ever before. Stay alert and updated with the reality of the situation that led to the remote workforce to begin with, but ultimately keep motivation and that light at the end of the tunnel mentality on the forefront of your message. At the end of the day, it all boils down to one thing: trust. By showing your team you trust them, whether it be their judgment, their work ethic, or something else, this trickles down and continues to cultivate a strong team dynamic of peers who trust each other in peacetime or wartime. A team full of people that are confident in themselves and in their colleagues will ultimately lead to enhanced workflows and ideally, loyalty that can conquer all. Trust perseveres, so build a team you can rely on and you know that you're all in this together. To wrap up, I really believe that even though you're remote, you can use this time to strengthen your culture. If you're remote because of the coronavirus, never waste a crisis. This is an opportunity to hit that next gear as an organization. And if you have any questions, join our Digital Marketing for Nonprofits Facebook group. We got a whole thread in there about working remote, and we'd love to hear what you're working through too. See ya.